Hi there, and welcome to Reflections with Rhonda Jones and my co-host Monica Livingston and my co-host Ruthie Wyburn. And we're in a good mood today, I think, because the weather is gorgeous. It's beautiful. We did have a cold snap, as we call it, way down south here in Pensacola, Florida. But it's beautiful now, beautiful and sunny. And I just wish everybody could be here in Pensacola. It's gorgeous outside. Some people are snowed in, I'm sure, and some people are experiencing all kind of inclement weather, but not here. It's always sunny in Pensacola.
Yeah, after the week we've had of rain, it's nice to see the sun.
That is true. But
Except when it rains.
that is true too. Always remember this, that the sun will always shine. It's always shining somewhere. So we're going to try to be more positive this year, and it's doing pretty good. I've had to admonish my two friends here for some misbehavior this morning, and that's why we're giggling like schoolgirls. It's fun. It is fun. Our first subject today is the lady whose little 2-year-old toddler was slapped on the airplane in Atlanta on a Delta flight. Some gentleman, some person, not so gentle man. I guess he got upset because the little baby was crying on.
Like babies do.
Yeah. It was either landing or takeoff. I forget.
I
Landing.
think they were landing, getting
Right.
ready for landing.
Sure, and that hurts your ears too. A lot of times when you're coming down, and children don't know what to expect all the time, and so the slap was horrible enough, but he actually called the little baby the N word, and he slapped it and said, "Shut that little N baby up." Now, I didn't see where the mother was arrested, and I was concerned because
Because if it had been you.
thank you. I would have
Or me.
went buck wild on that man. Buck wild.
I was thinking that.
She was too busy trying to console the baby.
Oh,
Yeah, and there were
Yeah.
plenty of other passengers, from what I understand, that jumped to the rescue. They
Good.
had heard, I guess he was maybe verbally assaulting the lady and the child prior to it because they heard it and then they witnessed it. And if they were like at row 16 and she was like at row 28, so for them to witness it, they had already had to turn around in their seat and be craning their neck around to see what was going on. So, you know that there was, he was cutting up a little bit, really upset, and they were expecting something to go down, and they rushed to her aid. So, but I was thinking the same thing as you were talking about it. Be glad it wasn't Rhonda on that plane.
I mean,
Yeah, but-
honestly.
Your first instinct would be to comfort your child.
Right.
Okay.
Well, it would with me. That
Okay,
would be
problem.
the first thing, to make
Problem.
the child feel like that he was safe and that he was okay, and then take on the man. But the child
Take on
comes
the
first. The
Rhonda
child
would have
comes
been like,
first.
"Here, hold my kid."
And that's that. We say that we're the place for intellectual honesty and spiritual honesty and scriptural honesty. I'm just being honest. That would be my first instinct. I don't want it to be my first instinct, but right now at this phase in my life, I went buck wild on him. And sad to say, he was 60 something, I think. And
That doesn't give him an excuse.
no, he
Thank you very much.
He should know better. Like
Yeah,
at
by
50,
then you should know.
At 50, we might give you a pass. 60, no, you should know better.
That's right.
And I think his company actually suspended him,
They did.
his position at that company.
I think he
And-
was like a spokesman for the company or like in the forefront for the company, and they said his behavior all across the board wasn't appropriate. And, until the matter's settled, they don't want him speaking out for the company and being a spokesman for the company.
Sure, no. Now, I'm not saying my gut instinct initial response is appropriate either, but I'm just being honest. If he would have called me the N word or or whatever and slapped me, it would be a lot different. I wouldn't. More than likely, I've evolved that far. But with your child, I don't know. There's just something in you just to do that. I'm not saying it's totally right.
Right. Well, I think his words were awful enough, but when you strike out and you hit someone, and then to hit a child who can't defend themselves like that, this child's crying for a reason. Either it's hungry or it's hurting, like you said, with the descent of the plane sometimes. Your ears pop and it causes discomfort and stuff. And, you know, I mean, you never know what's going on with this child. He could be sick, and maybe she's taking the child to a hospital somewhere. You don't know the whole story. And that man didn't know that whole story, and he was obviously agitated. We don't know how long the kid had been crying.
Right.
But you can only do so much as a parent, you know, with the child crying. You can attend to its needs if it needs a diaper change or if it's hungry. But until that child's able to physically tell you what's wrong with it and you deal with it, and even then, sometimes you can't, you know, get
Especially
to
on
an
an
issue
airplane.
and take care of it.
You
And
can't
you're
pick it up.
limited when you're on an airplane.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's strapped in. The baby, the child, strapped in somehow, and you know that's what they really want, and they don't understand why mama can't pick them up or, you know, whatever.
Well, what about the dad? He was sitting in the seat next to the mom. What'd he do?
Are you kidding me?
That was the impression that I got.
Oh, really? I
That
didn't
he
even
had
know the dad was there.
That he had the window seat and she had the middle seat, and this guy had the aisle seat. That's what I heard
Yeah.
on the TV yesterday. But
I don't remember reading that, but I may have just
well, I heard it on
missed
TV.
Yeah. Well, I didn't see where the guy was arrested either. Did y'all see where he was apprehended or whatever?
I don't remember reading it.
No,
I mean, that's
I didn't.
assault,
I didn't hear
child
anything
abuse.
about that either.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on. But,
Wow. Well, it's an unfortunate situation, and I've certainly been on planes. We all have with crying children, and you know you're tense anyway. And sometimes you just, you know, obviously the man has a problem with impulses or nerves maybe, and not give him a free pass. But you know, saying all that we said, we don't really know his situation. Nothing gives you the right to do that, but God knows, you know, he wasn't defending anybody. He wasn't, you know, trying to stop somebody from harm. He actually, you know, was the aggressor, and that's sad for him and his family. Now, you know, his career is certainly ruined. It's unfortunate. Okay, let's go back to a happy place and talk about this month is a special month.
Yes, you know, we talked last week about with Beverly Julian about Prader-Willi syndrome, and how there is a specific day of this month of February 28th, if I'm correct, that's designated for Rare Disease Day. And you know, we definitely need to make awareness or have days of awareness for diseases all across the board. And you know, a disease that's commonly known is heart disease, and February is American Heart Month. And it's devoted for, you know, making awareness of heart disease and the things that you can do to contribute to helping to end heart disease or lessen heart disease, because it says that the CDC says that heart disease is the leading cause of death among both men and women in the United States. And it says heart disease is a major problem. Every year, about 715,000 Americans have a heart attack.
Wow.
And about 600,000 people die from heart disease in the United States each year. That's 1 out of every 4 deaths. So
Sorry, I was doing a Marco Rubio, excuse me.
So that's definitely something, you know, that's the leading cause of death.
Well, it speaks to what most European people say about us, that we're, you know, out of shape, you know, big and fat, we eat horribly, and you know, all that's true. I admit that about myself, and I need to do better. But not, you know, I think Americans are trying, like you said, awareness. And if I don't think about it, when February rolls around, I do say, you know, my grandmother had heart disease, and I need to do better. And we need to do better.
Right.
And that's where, I know you're talking about awareness, helps put it in the forefront, because last week somebody heard on our show about this Prader-Willi, and they actually said, you know what, my so-and-so might have this. I need to go and inform my family, and maybe they can get help for the
Right.
baby. And so you may think, oh, it's dumb to talk about, you know, rare diseases. I don't know anybody that way. You don't know who you know, and you don't know who in your family might get something. You don't know everybody yet, and you haven't met everybody. And so having this information is so positive. And just last week, we think it's helped somebody. And so it's marvelous. This week, you know, if you were watching and you say to yourself, I'm young, I'm 20, and I don't think about heart disease. Well, you should. You really should. It could be in your family. Right, Ruthie?
Right. I knew a gentleman that his daughter had a heart attack at age 27.
Oh, my goodness.
So that's a little young, but she did. So, and there was no heart disease in the family, like in mothers or grandparents. It might have been fathered back, but in the ones that they knew now, and they were really shocked.
My goodness. So just right there, it's never you're never too young to start worrying about, what's going on. As young people, all of us, I know Monica and I, we've grown up together almost. We've known each other for so long. Not like we're the same age, obviously not, but I know I've known her since she was 18. That's what I'm trying to say. So I've
known me a long time.
Yeah, a long time. So, we've seen changes, and, we both have tried to do good, exercise and eating. Then we do good, and then for a year we do bad, and then, it's just...
Quit telling on me.
It's just a cycle. So
yes, it is a cycle.
We're gonna try to do some kind of Zumba dance, right?
I think we're gonna try to.
Yeah, but it can't be for long to start with, because
it'll wear you out.
It'll wear you out. She tried it to kind of give us an example, and she said how she was sore just from the pre-exercise and no stretching. She got sore from
No, it was learning the initial steps, but it was like a short little segment that you did of each one. I can say, well, this is pretty effective because that I'm way, way out of shape. So
I bet Richie could work circles around this.
We need to have Dee come and teach us how to clog. That'll also
that would
I would
probably
like
do it.
that. I would like that.
Get the stuff off. So
right.
Pretty interesting.
You don't see a lot of big and fat cloggers if you think about it. Except for the men, they have the
well, back on topic.
tool shed. Go ahead.
It was just saying that, some of the things to do to help prevent heart disease are making healthy choices and managing medical conditions that you already have. Of course, eating a healthy diet, which we can all benefit from. Maintaining a healthy weight. Of course, being overweight or being obese can increase your risk for heart disease. Doesn't mean that if you are obese, you have it. Thank God, so far, I've never been diagnosed with heart disease, cholesterol, high blood pressure. But I know that being overweight does increase that risk. So, the sooner you start to work on it, the better. Exercising regularly. Of course, physical activity can help maintain your weight, lower your cholesterol, your blood pressure. And it's recommended that everybody get at least 30 minutes on most days of the week of exercise. And of course, if you find something fun that you like to do, whether it be dancing, clogging, walking, riding a bike, bowling, something that gets you out there and gets you moving around and your blood pumping. Monitor your blood pressure. If you have high blood pressure, that's especially important to make sure you check it on a regular basis. And don't smoke. Limit your alcohol use. Have your cholesterol checked so that you can keep, informed about that. And manage your diabetes and take any other medicine for other issues that you have.
Well, words of wisdom right there. And see, just for you saying that, I have high cholesterol and I haven't taken my medicine in probably about 3 or 4 years. So, Ruthie, please,
For shame.
not the stink eye.
For shame. Yeah, give her the stink eye.
I don't need the stink
Let's
eye.
give it to her. 1, 2, 3.
I need to do
are
better.
you going to the doctor regularly?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
I don't have no insurance.
Because
Sorry, our Southern's coming out today.
If you go to the doctor and he says, do this and this and this, and then you don't do it, you've wasted his time, and your money.
That's why I don't go. Okay, we have a viewer comment. Ruthie, address this one. Some viewer, observant viewer, says clogging is what causes heart attacks.
No,
Not that kind of clogging, yeah.
no. My sister has one lung, and she was in clogging contests when she was in her 30s and 40s, and she never had any problem. And she's older than that now, and she has a little bit of problem with heart rhythmia, but it doesn't have anything to do with clogging because she hadn't been clogging in a long time. Because the older she gets, the less lung function she has in the one lung, and she runs out of air before she runs out of energy. So,
I think they were talking about clogging as in plaque.
In the artery?
Clogging up your artery.
Somebody was trying to be funny.
that's clogging. Clogging, and this one is Clogging.
Did you just spell the same word the same way?
Of course.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Oh, my goodness.
Clogging.
It depends on how the word is used.
Yes, that's right.
Ooh, that's right.
That's why those
Words.
words don't
that's-
have meaning, they have usage.
That's right. We've learned that words do not have meaning, inherent meaning. They don't mean something
Something
one
always.
time.
Always mean
all
the
the
same
time.
thing.
It's different every
So
time.
we just proved that to you right here on Reflections.
Clogging,
Right?
and the spelling's different too,
Or the same.
or the same. But yes, well, viewer, that was very clever of you, and we appreciate your comment. Also, we have a comment on how to spell Prater Willie, so they can get some information too. It's Prader, and I think it might be a dash, but you don't have to. And then it's a Wili, I do believe.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yes. So thank you for that, C. Eastwood, whoever that is. Okay, so are we going to do better,
Yes.
team?
Yes.
Maybe we can get Dee on our show. Either we can tape it on a day that she can come, or something. That she is a wealth of information, especially concerning heart.
Yeah, because she worked on the heart ward at Sacred Heart for about 17 years or maybe longer.
Right.
Right, and there's a lot of things that she was talking about with your nutrition, like the color of the skin of the vegetables and the fruits and stuff you eat, and how some are better for you than others, and that's information that's helpful to people out there who are trying to do better.
Yellow and green is the best.
Yellow and green.
And red for heart health, like your red apples are better for you.
Well, and the yellow vegetables too. The yellow vegetables and the green vegetables had a lot of stuff. The only thing with green vegetables is if you already have the problem and you are on a blood thinner, you have to really watch the greens because they will counteract the blood thinner medicine.
Didn't know it.
I found that out with OB.
Oh, see, learn something new every day.
Right.
Every day, and we share it. When you learn something, it's kind of like love. You don't want to keep it all to yourself. You want to give it all away, right, Momo?
Give it away.
Give it away. How's that microphone working for you?
I think it's working just fine.
Great.
Need no help.
So, folks, our goal this year was to do better, and we haven't lost a single pound. I think Mo and I have actually gained some weight. It's not funny. We're asking you if you can help us. If you have any quick fixes.
Quick fixes. Ruthie does try to help us. I will tell y'all that if you don't know that already. She is, we call it the plate police in the back. Because
Yeah.
we have a crew lunch up here where we all try and eat. And she kind of reminds us that we're not supposed to go back. And we all kind of chuckled today because we did have a fish fry.
We did.
Was wonderful. But, by the time you put the fixins to go with the fish, the cheese grits and the beans, they kind of spread out and you don't have room for it. So even Ruthie okayed a trip back for an extra piece of fish.
Ruthie went back and got 2 more pieces of fish.
So,
That's unheard of.
Will
But
slap my
normally-
hand now?
Yes.
no. But normally she does. She tries to help us because she cares about us.
Right.
That is true. And sometimes people are offended. Like if somebody came up to me or if a viewer wrote in and said, no, that wouldn't offend me. I really wouldn't care. Like you look big and fat or something. Never mind. That won't bother me. But so
Don't take that as a challenge, though.
no,
Don't put
whatever.
her to the test.
Whatever. But I was going somewhere with this. Oh yeah, people get offended sometimes, but you're just trying to help, and we run into that a lot. And Jesus himself was an offense to people, not because he did it on purpose. He did do it on purpose. I didn't mean to say that. He didn't do it with any kind of malice or anger or wrath or anything. And a lot of times, even when we're trying to help somebody, we can put it in a sharp tone or terms or something. And I would hate to hurt somebody's feelings as I'm trying to help them. Mm-hmm. Have y'all ever come across that, Mo, trying to help somebody and it came off wrong, and then you're in this big fix, and then you just say, I'll just stop helping people and I don't have to deal with it.
Right.
But we're called to one another, and we're all part of this body that the body of Christ. So we do need to help each other. But we may offend each other, but try to get over it and try not to let things, simple little things.
And like if Ruthie was to say something to me that should offend me, your actions are still on you, on how you react to it. You can be, and come right back at her, or you can try to just take it and think, what was is she being helpful, or she just being petty, or what? Or just go to that person. Don't sit there and stew about it. Either be able to put on your big girl panties and move past it, or go to put on your big girl panties and go and say, hey, Ruth, when you said that, it kind of offended me or hurt me, and then talk about it, work through it,
Right.
and move on. Don't let that offense or let something that somebody says or does cause you to pull back or to not be around them or not participate fully. When things happen, everybody's going to offend somebody at some time. There's not a way to please 100% of people all the time. And, whether you're trying to help them or whether it's something you say and you don't realize how someone could take it, it's going to happen. But learning to deal with it better. And I need help in that area, I'm sure.
Yeah, we all do. We all do. We haven't arrived yet, and that's why we call it a journey. So I was thinking just this week, the people that come across your path in life, I don't believe it's by chance. We are put in the mix of people to kind of, smooth this out, the rough edges, I believe. And so
Every person you meet is a gift from God.
amen. I agree with that. I really do. Unless it's like the Boston Strangler, or then you'd have to,
It's,
Yeah,
it's
philosophize
still,
on
it,
that.
It's still a gift to make you more aware. Or,
yeah,
it-
you could look at things
yeah.
so many different ways that way. I don't know. There's a lot to be said for that. There's a lot to be said for that. I agree.
Agree too.
Okay, Mo?
I was going to share with you, and I saw it on Facebook, and for the life of me, I cannot remember who posted it, but it was a video. And I would recommend that if you do want to look this up and watch the video after I talk about it, please, ladies, put your makeup on after, because it will, unless you just have a hard heart, it will bring you to tears, because it's a story of two brothers. Connor and Caden, I think it's Caden Long. And Connor was born normal, healthy boy, while his brother Caden was born with cerebral palsy. And he's unable to participate and do a lot of things that other kids can do. And to bond with his brother, he noticed that when his brother and he would do certain things, active things, such as swimming in Grandpa's pool or whatever, that Caden would really like it and really enjoy it. And to bond with his brother and to want to do things with his brother, they started doing like races and triathlons and things where he would pull his brother on a bike or in a boat for the swimming portion and compete together. And when you watch the video and you see the one brother talking about how he loves his little brother and he wants to do stuff with his little brother and how he sees the joy that it brings his little brother, I mean, it is very inspiring that even a child can see the benefit to doing something for somebody else. And even though it may be harder for them, they do this, and he sees the joy in his brother's face. And I mean, it was just, it was a tearjerker.
Yeah, no, I can't. That's an awesome story, but for some reason I'm bringing this about me again. I just been crying, like things make me cry lately, like sad things, happy things. I've never cried over happy things, or that's just never been me. Sad things, yeah, but it seemed like whatever, it's like exaggerated, so sad. So I love that story. I was joking with you.
So you can cry on my shoulder.
That's sweet. I'm gonna cry now because that was so sweet. But Connor is not gonna win any of these events because he has his brother with him. You know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he's swimming, but he's carrying his brother along, and that's what we're called to do too. We're supposed to shore up our brother and sister. And that means we won't always have the best stuff in life. We may not have the best car, the best this and that, but we are helping other people, and we are giving, and we're doing, and so we're not going to be usually the tops of anything, because we are diversifying ourselves, to help each other.
Right.
And so that way we all come together.
You may not get very many things, but you're sure getting rich.
Yes, that is it. And that's what that reminds me of, that he is a winner.
Right.
Connor is a winner. And so you show me the picture, just showing the picture of it, my heart just,
Right.
it was
And
awesome.
you can see the joy on both their faces. It's a very big bonding thing between the two of them. And, the boy Connor being able to do that for his brother Caden, and do it with him.
How are people going to see this? What's a way to look it up?
I Googled brothers who compete, and you can actually look up Connor and Caden Long, and I believe they're out of Nashville is where they live at, or where they competed in the 2011 Nashville Kids Triathlon. And there's videos. What I saw was like a YouTube video or something somebody had posted on Facebook, and it was very, 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 very inspiring. So
Very
he goes
nice.
to regular school.
Okay, Mo,
so
I'm going
there's
to correct you
just a lot.
with something on in front of God and everybody.
Okay.
Regular school.
Well, I mean, he goes to school like every regular child out there. He's
Regular
not.
child?
He.
You know-
Sorry. Okay. I mean, he goes to school. He doesn't have to go to a special school or anything. He has a wheelchair and he goes. And he knows sign language and stuff. I was just sharing some of the article. Sorry.
I know. That's a common faux pas.
Yes.
When you started out, you said something about he was born normal, and I know what you meant.
Yes. I hope so.
But it seems like we live in a society that we parse the words, and we try to, come up, try to make people equal. And we all are.
Right.
Not trying to make them, but
But nowadays, saying someone's born normal
yeah.
has a different connotation than probably
Right.
did 10 years ago when you said we're normal. Because, there are some people that are born with different abilities than others. But, it's just nowadays, if you don't use a certain term a certain way, you are thought to be, being
Different.
or
Yeah.
you're saying that person is not equal or don't
True.
have the same rights, and we don't believe that here.
No,
So,
no.
you're right. We do need to be careful with how we word things because there are so many people out there.
Who are different, and
Right.
Yeah, I know we used to say mentally handicapped, and we didn't think that much about it. We just knew that they had trouble because their mind hadn't developed and stuff. But I much prefer mentally challenged or physically challenged than physically handicapped. It's not as derogatory because it is a challenge,
Yeah.
and I like that we're getting more politically correct in some of this stuff. So
Right. Now that brings me to something. Do y'all think that we are too politically correct in this country? I mean, does it go back to being offended too easily? Is that why we have to be so politically correct?
yeah, I think so, and I think a lot of our politically correct takes away from our history and things that's in our past that should be history and should be thought of as history and
Right.
not something that's derogatory. And we go overboard.
And I think it's
we
because
do.
of our history and the mistakes we've made in the past that we have to worry about the political correctness. Because if we never thought of, someone of a different race, such as, the black community, once they used to be thought that they were lower than us and they had to have separate water fountains and ride on separate buses and had to go to separate schools. And if we'd never had those kind of wrong mindsets in the first place against other races or, people of different preference or
Yeah.
where the same sex,
Sure.
opposite sex. I mean, if we would lose these mindsets and if we never had these mindsets, and women, women were thought, they didn't
Definitely.
be educated and things like that. And it's those mistakes of our past
Right.
that have brought all this, they just have perpetuated this need for being careful with our speech so that we don't offend or we don't seem like we're putting somebody in a classification that,
Right, right. Yeah, that's certainly true. And history is something to learn from,
Right.
and you can't rewrite it unless it was inaccurate to start with. And the older I get, the more I can see where probably a lot of the history books that we read when I was coming up in grade school for sure, and whatever. I question the exactness of it, because I found that everybody has a point of view, and Ruthie and Monica and I can look at a movie or something or a situation on the street, and we would all have different. Ruthie might say, "Well, the woman was mean to the man." I might say the man was mean to the woman, and then you may
Well, they're
think,
both mean ugly.
yeah, or nothing was wrong. We just all have the different points of views, and
Right.
they need to be addressed. And that's what we do. We speak to all types of different people that have different beliefs, and I can say that I've learned something from each of them, and I haven't changed my thoughts and feelings on is there a God or isn't there a God. And I say that because we speak to a lot of atheists, and we have been lately because we're going through a series, and we have actually we call him our resident atheist and biologist, Greg Bray, as part of our network here at the place. But they're not going to change my mind about that, obviously, but they do give me pause to think and say, well, I need to consider this in creation, or this and that. And
Right.
do y'all know what I'm trying to say? I think everybody is valuable, and they all have something to add to the conversation.
Right.
Now, my mind is still a little on the closed side, and I filter things too fast. And Ruthie, she's older than me by 3-4 years, but she has more of an open mind than I do. My mind, I'll hear it, and then I just filter it really quick, and I need to let it stew just a little bit longer.
Right. Don't hear something and in 3 or 4 minutes decide one way or the other. Wait and go over it, chew it up and stuff before you spit it out and look at it and see what it is.
Sure. If I would wait 3 or 4 minutes would be good. I'm talking about 10 seconds. Like, no, yep, nope. And so that's where I came from. I don't need to, And I'm getting so much better, so much better.
We
And I
all
think,
improve every day.
Yes,
yeah,
I believe
and
that.
I think that what you were saying was very true. That people, whether they be theists or atheists, whether they be agnostics or whether they be a Muslim or Hindu or whatever, we all have something we can learn from each other. Now Greg Bray may never change our beliefs about God, but we may learn something from him. And I think that if we label them, and put them in a category and say, oh, well, they're an atheist and they're this, and we, just,
True.
we do that, we are going to miss out on an opportunity to get to know someone, first of all. From what I've learned and seen of Greg Bray, he's a very kind person.
Sure.
For him and Bob to sit on a show with each other week after week and have such differing views on there being a God or not being a God, and whether it can be proved or can't be proved or whatever, and they're back and forth, and they're always so kind with each other. And, they can have a conversation, and they can learn from each other and glean from each other, and we need to be able to do that. And it's so wonderful that we're seeing this take place and that we're a part of it here at the New Covenant Group.
Right.
And we encourage people to do it outside of the New Covenant Group. But if you can, come and join us, and, watch all the shows. Don't just watch, Reflections,
That's right.
or T-Bog or, watch them all.
Right. We have a lot of, we had, P.Z. Myers, which he's a well-respected biologist, and, he's an atheist that's very well known. And the sad thing is, he put the show on his site after it happened. He put the whole thing on, and people on his site were saying things like, and this is not verbatim, this is the gist of something, so forgive me. You should have ripped so-and-so a new one, and you should have done this. And, they were upset because he didn't come attacking. And honestly, some of his videos, I don't think he attacked somebody as far as, but when he was responding to some of their craziness, he did, say some bad word, well, what I would deem a bad word, MF to somebody. That's certainly a bad word to me. It may be your everyday language, I don't know. That's you. Talking to you, Monica. Ruthie. And,
Why?
no. Or he told some man, like, be gone with you, you silly man, you ignorant, call somebody ignorant. That's not for me to do, especially to your face.
Except me.
Except you.
Just kidding.
I might think you're ignorant and not tell you, I don't know which is worse, not telling somebody, or I might say, gosh, that was stupid, but that's my flaw. And so I think that's a flaw too, on other people, my opinion. But anyway, and my husband and I were thinking, they're just like church people, we're all the same. I don't care if you're an atheist or a God believer or a God denier. You're going to have people in your corner that are going to be rude and hateful and want people to attack. And we have the same thing in my corner, if we have corners, but we're all really in a circle, hopefully.
Yes.
But, attacking and why didn't you do this and that and that. We're not going to do that. We don't stand for that. And that's not what the place is all about. And it's about an honest conversation, an honest dialogue between two people. And it's not about one person saying what they want to put out, like talking points, and then one person saying what they want to put out. We can do that all the time, but when you come together, you have to listen to what the other person's saying and be respectful. And I guarantee you, if we have a show and someone turns disrespectful, you're going to be cut off. And because that's something that we will not participate in.
Right.
As far as
well, you
other
can't
people.
have a conversation when someone's doing that. When someone's on the attack to the point of being disrespectful and defaming somebody, calling them an idiot or whatever, you've lost that respect, and
Sure.
you can't. That isn't a conversation.
No.
And so a conversation is where one person participates with another person or multiple people, and they each give thoughts, and they go back and forth, and you listen and you respond, and you listen and you respond, not blah 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 blah, and you just say
Right.
the only one speaking and
Talk
the only,
over and-
talk over them. And
Yeah, I certainly agree. And people might say, well, you say you're not going to censor anybody. And what we're saying, and what we're talking about, is we're not going to censor your belief.
Right.
Now you might say, I believe you're an idiot. But y'all, that's different. Your belief in God, we're not going to tell you how to believe. If you come saying, I believe there is a God, but he has 3 legs and wings and whatever, that's your belief. We're not going to censor that. But
right.
I will certainly censor you if you are acting ugly toward, especially somebody else. You may be ugly toward me or my husband, but when you act ugly toward somebody else,
Well, I think it's just our general rule of conduct. I mean,
Sure.
you want respect, you should give respect.
That's kindergarten.
Yeah.
Really, that's kindergarten.
Well, they start teaching in kindergarten. Some people may just be slower to learn.
Maybe you're not so smart after all. Oh, that was like calling somebody idiot. I'm sorry. We have a horrible viewer comment. I'm not even going to read it.
Comment gobbler.
Gobble this comment.
Can't do it quite the same as they do on T-Bog, but
Somebody said it. I'll say it because,
you know
they
what
said comments like about being normal and regular or retarded. I think it might have been. Oh, they're trying to be funny, but there's nothing funny about being retarded. Actually, you know what? I used to work with they used to call it the Escambia County Association for Retarded Citizens, and I was in my senior year, I think, in high school, and I volunteered. Well, my junior year and senior year, and I thought, sometimes I would like to be retarded, and I'll tell you why. because they love everybody. They don't see anybody as different. They accept you, and they don't care if you're fat, you're ugly. They don't care if black or white. You know, you got one tooth in the middle, and it's crazy. They don't care. They just have a good time. They laugh, they smile, they love everybody. And I think a lot of us need to be retarded.
That's right.
If it were going
I
to be that
agree.
way, let's be retarded instead of being like we are, because we're nothing special compared to them. They're awesome. They are awesome.
That's right.
And if you know a youngster, they can volunteer with the Red Cross, and you can pick where you want to. You know, I could have picked, you know, the cerebral palsy people. I'm talking about organization, or the back then they were called, you know, retarded citizens, and I'm not even sure that that's politically correct anymore. So, viewer, maybe you should get a better word or take that one out of your vocabulary if you can't use it properly. That's just my 2 coppers for you. Okay. Oh, here's a comment. You have gorgeous hair, Rhonda. Well, thank you. I just made that one up. I can read anything.
Yeah, they could change their name to the Association of Special People,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah,
because they're special people.
they are. And they had a dance, and so I was like, yeah, I'll volunteer for the dance too. And they had a blast. I mean, they could cut a rug. I mean, they danced from one to the other, and they danced by themselves. They didn't care if they didn't have it. None of them felt like a flower. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
if you've seen dances on TV or whatever, and some of the girls are sitting down or whatever, they don't have anybody, you know, they feel bad. That they didn't care. They didn't know that, you know, the pressure of, I had to have somebody for the dance. They had everybody for the dance, and they had
Right.
themselves for the dance. So if you don't have a partner to dance with, you dance by yourself, and you have a good time doing it. So something to learn from that.
Yeah.
Mo, do you have anything else to add?
Sorry, I was enjoying the conversation there. I mean, I think that we could definitely learn from people. And like we said earlier, whether you're atheist or Muslim or whatever, whether you're a special person, a way to be, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, having less concern of what everybody thinks and just getting out there and enjoying yourself and dancing, or, you know, loving everybody and not worrying about the color of their skin or, you know, who they take home to bed. You know, let's look at each other as equals, everybody the same, and love everybody.
Yeah, I have a sister that loves to dance, and she can get out there and dance by herself, and she is not embarrassed at all. And I just wish I had a little bit of what she's got, because, well, dancing is not something I really enjoy like my other 2 sisters do. But this one, she just loves the movement, and she just gets out there and does her thing. So
It is nice to be that way.
yes, it is.
It really is. And I know who you're talking about, and she will get out there and do it. Both of them will. Actually, I'm sure.
Well, I think I've gained some of the inhibitions since I was, you know, as I've gotten older. When I was younger, I mean, I just get out there and dance, you know. But as I've gotten older, it's probably, well, I don't know if I want to get out there. So,
Well,
And I'm just the opposite. I would have never done it when I was younger. And then I got into square dancing, and I loved it, and we did that. Except when my husband was out of town, and I'd go to a square dance. I sit in a chair. I didn't dance, because you don't dance with anybody but your husband. And I know that doesn't apply to anybody else, but it did to me.
sure.
And he'd say, "Did you dance?" And I said, "No, but I enjoyed watching." He said, "Well, why didn't you ask some of those guys to dance?" And I said, "I didn't want to, you know." So
He was just testing you. Why didn't you ask some of the other?
no,
I didn't,
no,
honey.
he was sincere. He really thought I should,
Yeah.
because he wasn't as inhibited, I guess,
Well,
as
that
I
was your-
was, you
yeah.
know. So, but he wouldn't have cared, and I didn't care because a lot of times when we were at dance, he'd dance somebody else, and I'd sit it out.
Yeah.
Because I didn't love to dance as much as he did, as much as my sisters did. It was something I enjoyed, but I didn't love it like they did.
Yeah.
There's a difference. So
There is a difference. So, and that's a good point to end on. Find something that you love and are passionate about, and just go out there and do it. Spring's coming. Kick up your heels and do something different. and I'm going to contradict myself because I was going to say, to find something, that you love and go do it, but also find something that you've never tried before and go do it.
Okay.
And get out of your comfort zone too. But don't ever forget about things that you love. And sometimes we don't make time for it, doing things that we love to do. And I tell you what, we only go around once. This big round ball, well, the big round ball, certainly.
You guys are right.
So I really appreciate your time today, and thank you for your comments, even the inappropriate one. We love you just the same, though. It does not even matter. And stay tuned for the rest of the day. We have great shows coming up. And on March the 3rd, I want to say this. We're going to have the president of the American Atheist Association. He will be Skyping in David Silverman, and also Eric Hoven will be in studio with us. He is part of the like a creationist, I don't want to say movement, but belief certainly. Well, so am I, so we have that in common. But they are young Earth, I think, creationists. I'm not that. So like I'm trying to disassociate myself from, but anyway, I believe God created this world, obviously.
Your view's just different a little.
Right, yeah. But anyway, he's going to be here. He's been with us before in studio and with Greg Bray and Bob Graves, but he's going to be here on the show with my husband and myself, and we'll have the president of the American Atheist Association Skype in, and more than likely a few other atheists. And so tell your friends about it, March 3rd at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we'll go for 2 hours, and it's going to be a blast. And we're talking about, is church harmful? And you can say yes, or you can say no. And I can see where it could be, and there's some good points. We're investigating it, and whatever the outcome is, we're not just to find out is it or isn't it, but what can we do? Can we make it better, or do we need to start over? So join the conversation, and we'd love to have you. So that's been it with Reflections today. Next week, we're trying to find a, well, that's another show. I don't want to give it away. Okay. All right. We love you. Ladies, tell everybody bye.
Bye.
See you next week.
Y'all come back now, yeah?